Hey folks, Michael here with BreathTap Wellness. How's it going? All right. So we're going to hop right into a tapping script here. This one is on communication, specifically within your relationships. Now this one's going to be from my own perspective as a male and, communicating more effectively with my wife, whom I've been with. We've been married now almost 10 years. We've been together about 14 years. So our relationship actually got better with time, which is quite the opposite when you compare it to other relationships out there, even my previous relationships. A lot of times they get worse, right? There's certain patterns that form, usually in a negative way or in a negative light. There's a lot of blame and back and forth, and it ends up resulting in divorce or a broken relationship or whatever, right? So there are definitely ways in which you can improve a relationship, and a lot of times it has more to do with yourself than with the other person, and that's something I learned over time, right? I had relationships that didn't work out in the past, and one of the things I learned was, well, first of all, I became aware of the fact that I was blaming others, right? Blaming, the people I was in relationships with for them not working out. Not really taking a look at myself. And one of the things I found is the more I worked on myself, the more improvements I made within myself, the better my external relationships were with other people, not just my wife and my spouse, but friends and family and whatnot. And sometimes there are relationships that need to end. Sometimes you can be grateful for having a relationship with someone, whether it's a spouse or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or just even a friend. And sometimes because people evolve in different ways, they need to end. Sometimes they're toxic and they need to end. So I'm not saying that every relationship should or could be salvageable. I'm not a relationship expert, but I do know that my wife and I have an amazing relationship. It's gotten better with time. It has aged like a fine wine. And our relationship nowadays is we communicate better, we communicate more, we have more fun, our sex is better, everything is better, right? We have more fun, we're appreciative of one another, and we're also strong, independent, confident people outside of the relationship. So there's a lot of variables, right? There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to relationships. So this particular tapping script is going to be on communication specifically, because one of the most important aspects that I've found personally is that you need to have good communication. You need to communicate more, and that's on all fronts, right? Everything, communicating about your wants, your needs, your desires, communicating about life, communicating about your spirituality, your religion, whatever, communicating about your future. Communication is key to a successful relationship, especially as it pertains to your loved one, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, or whatever. This video is going to be from my perspective as a man with my wife and communicating with her, and I've improved it by improving myself, and I think you could do the same. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a woman and you have a relationship with a man, you want to improve it, your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, or the gender doesn't even matter. If you're a woman and you have a woman as a loved one, as a spouse, as a girlfriend, whatever, or a man, vice versa, whatever, it doesn't really matter. The key here is improving yourself, becoming more aware, more conscious of the relationship and of yourself and of patterns that might not be supporting your relationship. And at the core of this is going to be better communication, good communication, okay? So we're going to aim for improving communication in your relationship. Now I'm going to use my wife as I go through this. I'm going to say my wife. You could say whoever it is that you love, that you want to improve that relationship with. Your husband, your boyfriend, you could say their name, whatever. So you just use whoever it is that you are thinking of while we tap through this, and I'll use my wife. All right, so here we go. Karate chop point. Just follow along, say what I say, tap on the spots that I tap on, okay? So even though I would really like to have better communication with my wife, and I feel like it's not very good right now, I choose to love, honor, and forgive myself and my wife. And even though I just feel like I'm not getting along really well with my wife right now, I feel like we're not clicking real well. We don't have that same chemistry we had in the beginning. And I don't like it, and I'm concerned. But I choose to love, honor, and accept myself right now. And my wife. And even though I just feel like there is a disconnect between my wife and I, it doesn't feel very good. There's something lacking. And I wish I can find what it is. I choose to love, honor, and forgive myself. I choose to forgive my wife. And I choose to forgive this entire situation, including anyone else who has contributed to me feeling this way. Okay, let's go to the top of the head. This disconnect with my wife. I feel like I'm just not communicating with her effectively. In fact, I might even blame her quite a bit for that disconnect. Besides, what's wrong with me? It's not me who has the problem. It's her. I'm doing everything right. Am I? Well, maybe I'm part of the problem too. But there just seems to be this disconnect. This disconnect in our relationship. This disconnect in the way we communicate with one another. Perhaps I'm afraid to share some things with my wife. What if she criticizes me? What if she hurts my feelings? And maybe she has in the past. But maybe she hasn't. Regardless, there is a disconnect in the way I communicate with my wife. Right now. And I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the effect it has on our relationship. It just feels so boring right now. What about all those good times we had? What about back in the beginning? Things were fresh and new. We had a lot of fun, a lot of good times. And now it just seems like none of that matters. Constantly stressed out, frustrated. It's hard to even smile at her anymore. And I don't like the way that feels. I'm sure she doesn't like the way it feels either. Maybe she's thinking the same way I'm thinking right now. Which is quite bizarre, because what is that obstacle between us? Why can't we communicate like we used to? Why can't we share our innermost desires with each other? without fear of criticism, without fear of rejection. And even if she does reject me or an idea or a desire that I have, that doesn't mean she doesn't love me. There's such a disconnect. I just don't know if it's salvageable. Maybe a new and exciting relationship with someone different would be amazing. But what happens when years go by and I'm in the same situation I am in right now? And then what? Maybe our relationship is perfect as it is right now. Maybe we just need to communicate better. Share more. Give appreciation and gratitude for each other more often. Maybe the problems and the fears and the issues I see with our relationship right now are really just a reflection of how I feel internally. Maybe it's my own unhappiness about myself that's getting in the way. Besides, if I was incredibly happy and joyful and appreciative right now, wouldn't I just exude that within the relationship? Wouldn't my wife be able to feel that happiness, that confidence, that joy emanating from me every day? Influencing her in very positive and beneficial ways? Maybe if I was incredibly happy with myself, then I would be incredibly happy with my wife. Maybe all of this negative thinking towards the relationship is my own inherent negative projection from myself. If I'm thinking and projecting negatively towards my relationship with my wife, then the laws of nature would tell me that I should expect negative outcomes. Well, that's silly. That's all silliness. You're telling me if I'm thinking negative about the relationship or about my wife that I'm going to have a negative relationship with my wife? That seems nonsensical. But the laws of nature, the laws of science tell us, the mind tells us how we feel, and what we focus on mostly, we will get and experience. Neuroscience tells us this. Quantum physics tells us this. Experience tells us this. Maybe communicating more effectively with my wife is simply adjusting the way I think about it and what I perceive. Maybe thinking more loving, joyful, appreciative thoughts towards my wife. Will inherently bring more joyful, positive outcomes within the relationship. Perhaps eliminating my own fear of criticism and judgment will release many of these negative feelings I project into the future. Thus, making a passage for more effective communication and love between my wonderful wife and I. This relationship is exactly where it needs to be right now. And I'm opening up myself to let go of the resistance that I'm projecting onto this relationship. I'm allowing myself to see, feel, and hear a more positive, loving relationship with my wife right now. I'm now releasing all negative emotion, fear, uncertainty, and doubt as it relates to my wife right now. Releasing it from every cell in my body and every energy center of my being. I'm just letting all the negativity go right now. I'm choosing to allow effective communication in my relationship with my wife right now. I'm allowing myself to feel gratitude for our wonderful relationship right now. I'm allowing myself to share my true, genuine self with my wife moving forward. Confident in who I am and what I believe. I'm allowing a tidal wave of love, joy, and happiness to completely flow through my being right now. I'm communicating better with myself right now. Hence, communicating better with my wife as well. I'm becoming a communication master with my wife right now. In fact, it's going to be fun communicating with her more effectively. I choose to become a communication master with my wife right now. I choose to allow the relationship to bud like a beautiful rose. I choose to allow pure, positive, white light energy to flow throughout each of us right now. I'm allowing pure appreciation and gratitude to flow from me to my wife and my wife to me right now. I love seeing wonderful communication coming from my wife to me. And I love communicating back to her with genuine love and appreciation as well. I choose to allow respect, love, and happiness to flow through my entire body right now. In fact, I feel so good right now that I feel that I can communicate anything to my wife at any point in time. From this point moving forward, in body, mind, heart, and spirit. Yes. Go ahead and hit your wrists together. I am a communication master with my wife right now. we have an amazing, loving, fulfilling relationship. And I love that. I love that. So be it. It is done. Yes. All right. What a great script that was. That really felt good. I mean, it's funny because, you know, as I'm saying some of these things, I know they're not true for me because I've worked on myself and our relationship years ago, and our relationship has flourished since. But what's beautiful about it, even if some of those verbalizations don't ring true, maybe they're not true, it doesn't even matter, because there's what's called borrowing benefits when it comes to tapping. So just doing the tapping and saying things out loud, verbalizing things, certain aspects are going to collapse, certain things are going to ring true, certain things may not. Maybe some of the things I said are worst case scenario for you and they're not true, but you putting it out there has tremendous benefits by just doing the tapping and going through it. So, you know, a lot of those things are not true, at least not now. And but just doing them, there is tremendous benefits that my own physiology, my own mind is going to experience. Thus, as I improve myself, my outward expression, my energy, my communication with others is going to improve too, including that with my wife. So, so give it a try, right? Give it a try, go through it, see if certain things come up. If certain things came up that are very specific to you, then go ahead and work on them, tap on them, and you know, see how it goes. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more. See you. Take care.